Hello everybody, this is Jesse with Jesse's Gear, where we talk about gear and everything tech. Today we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch OLED and why I think it's still worth it in 2024. Alright, so taking a look at the console itself, still looks like a Nintendo Switch. However, this one has a few key upgrades that I think that make the Nintendo Switch OLED a much better choice than the Nintendo Switch Lite or the original Nintendo Switch. Um, so first of all, we have this gorgeous OLED panel. It's still a 1280 by 720 panel, 220 ppi for you pixel folks out there. Sorry about the lighting. Um, Still got the same Joy-Cons, but it is upgraded to the OLED panel, like I said, at 7 inches, whereas the original Nintendo Switch was 6.2, so you'll notice that the bezels are much smaller. And I think it is a welcome upgrade. If you compare this to the original Nintendo Switch side by side, there really is no comparison. It's a far superior screen. The brightness is better. You still get the same PPI and the same resolution, but it just makes the games pop so much more. And I really do enjoy it. So, um, I do believe from the original Nintendo Switch that we do have a recessed power button now. Not so sure how I feel about it. It's recessed a little bit too much, in my opinion. Um, I just, I have a hard time kind of getting to it. And it's a minor gripe, I know, but it's just one of those things that I find a little bit annoying about it. Um, Still staying on the front side of the console here. We do still have the same Joy-Cons. Buttons still feel really good on it. The sticks, I'm not super sold on them. I really wish they were Hall Effect. Um, they still feel like, I don't know how to describe it, but not accurate. They feel like they have kind of areas that they want to be. So the fine control on it just doesn't feel so great. They just, it's more of like a move this direction, move that direction, and not so much a fine control because you can kind of feel some indents in the sticks. So I really wish they were Hall Effect. I wish they would have upgraded that. Um, Again, a minor gripe, but if you're, you know, in a first-person shooter or even in Zelda, if you're trying to aim the or the bow, sometimes it's hard to be accurate with it, and I think in a lot of games that's why they have kind of that aimbot kind of a thing where you can hold one of the trigger buttons and it'll lock onto a target. I think it's kind of a cheap workaround in my opinion, but otherwise, moving on around to the back. So this is a very welcome upgrade to the previous model where they had that real slim kind of plasticky kickstand that was very weak and broke easily. You could easily rock the console on a table and have it fall over. But now you get this really large and actually metal kickstand. And it has a really nice range of motion on it, as you can see. Very smooth feeling, actually, and very stable. So really, you can kind of angle the Switch really far back, probably about 120 degrees, 140 maybe, to kind of really any angle you want. So I think that's a really welcome improvement. And I do like that they have changed the micro SD card location. I feel it's just a lot more secure in that area. Really easy to get the card in and out as well too. So um, yeah, really nice there. And there's really not much left to talk about the console, other than just the oops. I guess I gave that card to my wife. We've been playing Grounded, and I let her play Zelda. But as you can see, just the colors look really really nice on it. Um, Another addition or change was the location of the speakers to where they're firing up at an angle ever so slightly. Um, and it does sound a little bit better, but it's nothing game changing. I feel like the volume might be a little bit louder, um, but other than that, they're basically unchanged. Uh, so, like I said, I don't think waiting for a console to come out right now is the best option. I mean, realistically, the Switch has been out for about 8 years, and the library of games that are available to you are in the thousands. I mean, there are nights when I just scroll through trying to find a new game, and I am overwhelmed at the library of the games that are available. It's absolutely insane. So I don't think there's a better time right now or than right now to pick up a Nintendo Switch if you're really in the market for one. If you want to wait for the next console to come out, then be my guest. But I don't know that it's going to be another Switch. It could be a handheld. It could be a home console. Um, I do think that the Switch is a really great console, and I'd love to see a higher resolution screen. I think the size is just right. I don't want to see it any bigger. 7-inch display is plenty. If anything, an 8 uh, would be the maximum I would like to see. The weight of it is pretty decent. Um, my biggest complaint, I guess, would be as far as the ergonomics of the console goes. I wish the trigger buttons were actually an analog trigger and not just a button. Um, to where you could have some variability, like charging up a swing on an enemy or for a bow or something like that. And for a racing game for throttle, I really don't like just having a clicky button on a trigger. That's reserved for your bumper triggers. So that's a change that I would love to see in the console if they're going to keep this form factor for um, a potential release date of 2025. I'm thinking late 2025. We might see another one. I don't have any evidence to prove that, but that's just kind of my gut feeling at the moment. Um, However, I really hate that the Joy Cons are flat on the back. I understand kind of the decision and why they had made that choice, but I don't have particularly uh, small hands. I have pretty long fingers, and I have to kind of wrap my hands like this in order to make the console comfortable to hold. Because I'd really like to be able to have, you know, a grip on the back to have more of a comfortable feel. This is just totally unergonomic, and that's why they include this little Joy-Con controller um, with the Nintendo Switch. And as far as ergonomics go on this, it's pretty decent. Like I said, I have slightly larger hands. I don't have massive hands. Um, and I do think this implementation works pretty well, especially for people, children, things like that, who have a little bit smaller hands. It does provide a little bit better of a grip, but as you can see, I still have a lot of a lot of space here. So that's another gripe. I just wish that they just made these bigger. And I know there's a Switch actual controller out there that's more like a PlayStation or Xbox controller, and that's fine as an add-on. I just don't like I don't like the idea that they made it unergonomic enough to include this and make another controller just just to please their target audience. I just think it's a poor design choice, and I really wish that they would change that. So this is a nice accessory that they just give to you. So I think that's a really great thing. Um, and it works pretty well. I'll usually set this up in kind of its little uh, stand mode, and then you know play my games this way. Just because it feels better. But when you're laying in bed or something like that, this really isn't much of an option. So I don't know. And then of course when it's docked, this is really your only option, unless you're playing a two-player game and then each person has a Joy-Con. Um, so that's pretty great. Um, so we did talk a little bit about the changes on the console. I failed to mention earlier, sorry, that the original Nintendo Switch comes with 32 gigabytes of internal storage. The OLED actually comes with 64. So again, I think that's a really welcome upgrade. And especially since this has been out so long, the games really don't take up a whole lot of space, so you can fit quite a few on there. And the third party SD cards are really, really inexpensive. I mean, I think I picked one up for it was a 256 gig, and I think I got it for like $25 or something like that. So that'll last you quite a while. So, and of course, you get these. I'm not exactly sure what you call them, but keep them on your wrist if you're playing any kind of like a Beat Saber or anything like that. A game that requires you to move the Joy Cons around a lot, keeps them from getting slung into a TV. So that's a nice included accessory. But what I really wanted to kind of focus on was the dock and some of the changes that they had made to it. Um, so visually, it's not really all that different. Still got your USB um, on the side there, but they've improved the cable routing on the backside, so it is easier to get your HDMI cable in there and your AC adapter. But the really cool thing is they have a LAN port now. So instead of relying on a wireless communication, you can hook it up into your router and get a much more solid connection. Especially for those of you out there that don't have a great wireless setup. So the Switch is running some pretty old wireless technology. Um, yeah, I think that's a really welcome upgrade, especially if it's going to be sitting next to your TV. A lot of people put their Wi-Fi routers in their entertainment center as well, so welcome upgrade on that. I think I think that was really a really good thing, and for the price difference between the original Switch and a Switch OLED, I don't think anybody should buy the original Nintendo Switch. There's no difference in performance or battery life per se. Um, I get excellent battery life on this. I think I've got, what do I got here? 57% on this, and I think I played Grounded with my wife for, oh geez, I think it was about 4.5 hours. Um, and as you can see, the battery life is 57%, like I said. So I think battery life is excellent. The NVIDIA Tegra processor, I think, is great. I'm surprised at the graphical fidelity that you're able to get out of an 8-year-old system. It's impressive. I think a lot of people, what they really want to see out of the next console is, I think a lot of people expect that they want to see AAA games come to it, like Call of Duty and things like that. I don't think Nintendo's ever going to take that direction as a company. I don't believe that they want to get into that market. And to be perfectly honest with you, um, a 4K Nintendo Switch with a powerful processor for better graphical performance and visuals and things like that on the next console, whichever that's going to be. I don't think it's all that important because I don't think that's what the Switch or Nintendo is trying to be. They've never been about in their entire history being the best performance console out there, and I think they just bring a lot to the table with their games library and especially all of their exclusive titles from Nintendo. Um, the level of fun you can have with your friends and family on a Nintendo Switch, I think is just unmatched. I've played a lot of Xbox and PlayStation, other consoles in the past, and Nintendo has just always been one that you can easily come back to and have a blast with. So I am excited about the future. I really hope that it's backwards compatible for the Nintendo Switch library because, like I said, it's thousands of titles. Um, and there's so many great indie games on it, first party, ports that are coming in, remasters. I think it's all really awesome. I would like to see price reductions in gaming titles across the board, realistically, but I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. But paying $70 for a game on a handheld console, I think is just absolutely outrageous. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch OLED. I think it's an excellent console. If you're looking to pick one up now, I don't think you should wait. I think you should just go ahead and get one. You can find any game out there that would satisfy pretty much any gamer. You can have tons of fun with your friends and your family. You can sit on the couch and each one of you enjoy just one console with the two Joy-Cons. Have a total blast playing Mario Kart and other titles like that. I think it's a great time to pick one up. Um, and yeah, so that's my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch OLED. Tell me what you think in the comments section below if you think that or if this console is still worth picking up in 2024. And if you did, tell me about your experience with it. And until then, we'll see you in the next one.